to talk a little bit about this latest painting that I did. So first of all, when you look at abstract art, you want to go slow and you want to try to get a feeling or sense of the emotions and the expression that the artist was trying to capture. You don't want to try to understand it in the same way as if you look at a sunset, you don't try to figure out why the physics behind it makes the sunset the way it is. You just experience the beauty in a sunset. You don't question why or how it's working in the physics and the light and everything like that. So when you go to a gallery or a museum and you look at contemporary or abstract art, you want to just have a one-on-one experience with it and try to connect to it on an emotional, visual, visceral reaction. You don't want to try to figure out what was the artist thinking. I have that a lot when I have shows and somebody will come up to me and say, what were you thinking when you were painting this? And my answer is always the same. I wasn't thinking anything while I was painting it. As Gerhard Richter said, painting or thinking is another form of painting. So you don't think when you paint. So I just want to talk a little bit about it. A couple of nights ago, Monday night, I was working on titles for the paintings, which usually come after, but I had three columns that I had separated. One was words that dealt with religion and God, Christianity. The second column was Alice in Chains song lyrics, titles of the songs. And then the third column was about nature and landscapes. All three of these things are in most, if not all, the paintings that I've been producing lately when I create. So the last hike that Adam and I went on, the 17, 18 miles at Rome Mountain, there was a really, really pale orange flower right in front of a mossy green tree. And I asked Adam to take a photograph of it, and he sent it to me. So this painting is pretty much based on that one photograph. So if you notice the right side where it has the pale orange in front of and on top of the moss green, that was the very first start of the process when I did this painting yesterday. I always listen to music, but yesterday my cell phone was acting up and I couldn't get Amazon Music to play, so that was probably the second time in 15 years that I didn't listen to music while I painted, which I think it turned out really well. So the color schemes that I usually have when I paint, I usually just think of two to four colors, and then I just kind of spontaneously go about the process thinking that, okay, the pale orange and the moss green, which is the flower in the tree at Rome Mountain, about halfway into the hike, and I thought that would pair nicely against a turquoise and then a lighter turquoise on the bottom. And then of course that leads to green and then purple and so forth. So it's kind of a chain reaction on the colors. I don't plan anything in advance. I don't say I'm going to use these 15 colors or anything. Usually it just starts out 2 to 4 colors that I have in mind from an experience, usually in nature. And then usually when I listen to music, I'll see colors when I'm listening to music, and then that influences it a lot also. And then the religious or the spiritual aspect of it is I'm trying to capture my emotion and experience how I experience and see color in nature that God created for us to visually enjoy. So there's not a lot of purple, which is my favorite color in the painting, but I had a smaller tube with a little bit of cobalt blue left over, and I mixed that with the red violet deep, the quartz that I ordered for Utrecht, and it just turned out to be a gorgeous color. And if you look at the upper left, you can see there's yellow green and the kind of dark dull green, and then you got that cobalt blue / purple color that sits on top of it. It's just such a spatial and deep color, so rich. I love that color. So the red orange in the center was a little bit more over to the left, and it went down and up just a little bit more, but I scraped it away because it was too loud. And then I had pink to the left of the orange, and I scraped that off to where you can see the ultramarine blue coming through, and a little bit of the pink is there. So when you scrape it away, the pigment of the acrylic actually stains the canvas, so it creates more of a depth as opposed to the orange area, and then also the pale orange and the dull green. So I wanted the bottom to be a grayish, kind of cooler values, so the pale orange would stand out even more. The left side has a yellow green over the ultramarine blue, which comes forward as much as the pale orange on the other side. I use different blues like aqua, turquoise, cerulean to provide a calming space in the distance and kind of push everything back. There's a little red to give enough warmth and drama to add excitement, a little bit of heat. The title is from Alice in Chains song Frogs, which happens to be Tuesday in August, and I really got up at 7 a.m. Yesterday to work on it. So the title is 7 a.m. on a Tuesday in August. This painting is 4 feet by 3 feet. If you notice the peacock colored circular splatters towards the bottom and the bottom left, that was painted from when I scraped off the paint that was on the orange, which is now like a magenta, ultramarine blue kind of fade. Without music though, it was really difficult to get into the zone of painting. Like I noticed I was talking a lot more and a little bit more sporadic, and in between mixing colors, I was probably thinking a little bit more than usual as I was mixing instead of really getting into the moment. But once again, I love how it turned out. I think it's a very successful painting. It has a lot of different colors. It has a lot of texture, a lot of space, a lot of contrast. It has a lot of emotion to it. So like when you're looking at it, what you want to do is just take your time and really slow down, okay? Or really slow down and see. I go over it a lot with my classes, the difference between looking and seeing. Looking at this, you can stand in front of a painting and look at it for 3 seconds and then walk off. You're not going to get anything out of art if you do that. If you stand in front of it, like I've been known to do with Mark Rothko or Gerhard Richter for an hour, 2 hours, then you're seeing it. So you want to slow down and you want to see the painting. You want to see everything that's there, and then you want to connect to it on an emotional one-to-one level and experience what the artist was trying to visually communicate. And the communication can be emotion. In my case, my abstract paintings are about a one-sentence artist statement would be how I see and experience color in nature, okay? So the religious aspect, the spiritual aspect, the music, when I listen to music and I see different colors, you know, that's all secondary, but it's about something. It's about a place. In this case, a pale orange flower against a mossy green tree at Rome Mountain. That's the origin of the painting. That's where it came from. And then I'm trying to make a successful painting that has emotion and that has content, that has meaning. So I really hope that, you know, this kind of tutorial about how to experience and how to see abstract painting and kind of explaining the story. Every painting has a story to it, and I usually, since I teach full-time, except for this year, usually I don't have a time to do this. I might do it on other paintings. But I think it's really good to kind of understand how to see it in a gallery or a museum, and then, you know, what's the artist's intention? What is the artist trying to say by the artist statement, by the title, the clues? It's all there. You really shouldn't have to explain everything, but just remember, you don't want to question, you don't want to look at a painting as like, well, what was the artist thinking? What was he or she thinking about? What it's about? What does it mean? Like, you don't have to worry about that. You just stand in front of it and experience it. You don't have to know how Mozart or Beethoven or Bach composed something. Just experience the music for what it is. Miles Davis is one of my favorites. So I don't have to learn how to play the trumpet or even know the notes that he's playing. I can sit on the deck, smoke a cigar, and appreciate Miles Davis, and he kind of takes me to another place, which I hope is what my paintings do. So hopefully you enjoyed this. Feel free to comment if you have any questions, and I'll definitely be glad to answer that. Enjoy the Wednesday.